All right, everybody, how are you? Chad Thibodeau here. This is the Tribe 100 Coaching for January 24th. If you're watching this live today, welcome. If you're watching on demand, hope you get a lot of benefit out of it. What I want to do today is I want to remind you where we are in the big picture of things. Because remember, if you're going to be launching your business, we said there are basically two sides to your business. There's the what and there is the how. And every week I come back here and I try to remind us and re-remind us of this. So let me just show you again. Let me just show you this little image that we're doing. So on the left side is the what, and on the right side is the how. Okay. What I want to do today is I want to teach you a little bit on the left side and show you how the information I'm going to show you today really will impact you on the right side of the thing today. So we said on the left, everything rises and falls with authority and credibility, right? So you have to have authority and you have to have credibility. So what I want to show you today with the content is how to use content to build your authority and credibility. So when you go and you begin building out your funnels and your emails and everything like that, it's just a lot easier for those things to sell because of your credibility and authority. So what I want to do is I want to come over here and I want to show you my Facebook. So I want you to write this little formula down, and I want you to process this little formula, and it's just simply 10 to 1 equals wins. That's it. 10 to 1 equals wins. Now, what do I mean by that? So I want you to write 10 components. I'm going to show you on my Facebook page in a minute. I want you to write 10 authority-driven articles to every one credibility article. And if you do that, you are going to win in this game. So let me talk to you a little bit about that. So if I was to ask you what's more important, authority or credibility, what would you tell me? Okay, what would you tell me, authority or credibility? Well, what I would say is it's sort of like love and marriage. You remember the old TV show, You Can't Have One Without the Other? It's love and marriage. So they sort of go together. However, I always look at like credibility is sort of like the woman in the relationship, right? Okay, and authority is like the woman in the relationship, and credibility is like the man in the relationship. Okay, so there's a little phrase in comedy that we used to say called happy wife, happy life. Okay, and every man alive knows if that is true in your particular relationship. And so as long as the wife is happy, okay, and everything's going well, typically the household runs smoothly. And so that's sort of how it is in this right here. So we're going to look at authority as the wife in the relationship, and we're going to look at credibility as the husband in the relationship. And the responsibility of the husband is to make the wife happy. And this is why we do 10 pieces on authority, 1 piece on credibility, and combined, they are happy. So what do I mean by authority? Okay. So each and every time that you get up to speak, or you get up to sell, or you get up to influence somebody, the only way that that's going to manifest itself in a positive manner is if you have the authority to do so. And so I like to say that authority is sort of when you walk in the room, everybody stops and listens. Why? Because you have the authority. So that's why if Russell Brunson were to walk into your mastermind group, everybody would shut up, interrupt their day, and say, Russell, you can have the floor. Why? Because he's got the authority. He's got the authority that when he walks into your room with marketing, he can demand the floor. Why? Because he has the authority, probably more authority than everybody else, and we all just want to listen to him, okay? That's what authority is. Credibility is when what you're saying is backed up because you have proof that you know what you're talking about. Okay, that's credibility. And as important as that is, it's equally important as authority, but it's not necessarily needed to be showcased as much as your authority. So that's why we say 10 to 1. Okay, 10 to 1, you win. And so authority needs to be showcased often. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to walk you through a little pattern here that you can do and that you can use to be able to create authority in your life. And what I want to do is I want to just show you simply my Facebook page, okay? So this is my personal profile, my Facebook personal profile, and I just want to walk you through, and I want you to see some of the posts that I have written, and I want you to tell me, do you think these are authority or do you think these are credibility, okay? And these are just generic ones, okay? So a lot of times we think that when we're writing about authority and credibility, we believe sometimes that when we write about that we have to have these big, gigantic, long blog posts. And sometimes authority is not even content marketing that helps somebody. Sometimes authority is just saying who you are. So for instance, so on my page, I do not do a very good job on my page of giving giving authority to what I do. I need to work on this a lot. Okay. Some people have, backdrop images that, that really sing to what they're doing. They'll have, I mean, I have Russell Brunson and Damon Johns here, but they'll have a couple pictures down here with some celebrities. Okay. They're going to have their, their, whatever, their lead magnet on here. I don't have any of that. I probably should, but I don't. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to take you through this. Okay. So the first post I want you to look at is just this one here. It's, hey, Tampa Bay and Florida friends, I'm going to be in Florida next week for the 10X event and thinking about arriving several days early and hosting a mastermind in Tampa. Is that authority? And Christina, you can play along here. Is that authority or is that credibility? Or is it neither?
Oh, you unmuted me. I think it's, I don't know if it's either one really.
Yeah, it's authority. The reason is because what I'm doing is I'm stepping in and saying, hey guys, I'm coming to your town to do something. Who's coming? Right? So that's authority. If I didn't have authority, I'd be pretty stupid to say that, right? Because
Okay.
I'm noticing I got 31 comments. So that's an authority post. Now, I want you to think about this. Authority posts don't always have to be, these big, long blog posts. They can be simply something like this of you stating who you are, what you're doing, where you're going, etc. Hey, guys, I'm coming into your town. I'm going to be speaking. Who's coming, right? That's an authority post, okay? An authority post. Now, this one here, let's look at this one. This one here, this is an I'm Giddy training. This is a training that I do about how to create packages, how to sell high ticket with packages. Is that authority or is that credibility?
If I remember watching this, you talked about people that you were mentoring and they went out and sold a ton of stuff for high dollars.
Yep, they sold a ton of stuff for high dollars.
That would be credibility, right?
So that aspect of it would be credibility, but the majority of the post is authority because I'm teaching them and I'm telling them what to do. So remember, authority is when you build yourself a platform, you stand on that platform and you take control and you establish yourself as the teacher or the expert or the influencer in the relationship, and you speak down to your people, not down as in you little people down there, but hey, I'm the one with the goods. Now listen to me, okay? So I do that for the majority of this, but I give all sorts of testimonials in this particular video, which builds my credibility. And so that's what I'm going to show you. The reason why you have to do 10 to 1 is because in your authoritative post, it is very easy to mix credibility into it. Okay. So like, even like, I can't remember what these say, but like, if you just come here, okay, in this particular post here, when you look at this, you can see like, okay, so grateful for you. Thanks for everything. That's credibility. So what happens is by doing an authoritative post, Jessica, thank you for everything. Chad, I'm so grateful for you and everything you've done for me. Okay, love the mastermind. It's a game changer. Best coach ever. Chad, I needed to hear this. That's actually authority. Okay, so what happens is when you do authoritative posts like this, and you can put hooks in your authoritative post for people to comment, more times than not, your credibility will come out in that post. Okay, so even though you're trying to build your authority, credibility will come out. Okay, this one here, Trish Lito, post on my page. Okay, I was challenged by my incredible business coach to create 10 days of posts. What's interesting? Okay, she goes on to talk a little bit about it right here. And okay, that's just more content. Is that authority or is that credibility? She gave me authority here, right? And she gives me credibility that it works, okay? This here is an article that I wrote for Funnel Magazine. It's my 7-step system of launching your business quickly. Authority or credibility?
Authority.
Authority, absolutely. It's authority, okay? But Dave, he comments on here, and this is my credibility. Great article, packed with lots of actionable items. Okay, I put this one here. The pain you're currently experiencing is only temporary. It won't last forever. You're almost through it. Authority or credibility?
Authority.
Authority, right? So you get the point here, okay? And when you give authoritative posts, what you find on here is so many times people will give you credibility comments. Okay, so this one here, this is a little blog post about rejoicing and what is rejoice and etc. That's an authoritative post. Okay, authoritative posts. And then you got guys like in here, hey, I found you in the ClickFunnels group. I want to work with you. Okay. Even goofy things like this. Okay. I've fallen in love with dressing up again. Authority or credibility? Well, it's authority. I'm standing my ground, saying here's who I am. It really has nothing to do with my business, but it's an authoritative post. Okay, so almost everything that I do is authoritative. This one's credibility. Okay, so she wrote something kind on here, tagged me in a post. This one here, I'm bragging on my clients. Is this authority or is this credibility?
That would be credibility.
This would be authority, right? So what I'm doing here is I'm basically establishing myself as an incredible coach, okay? And I'm speaking to them. Now watch my language. This is why this is authority, not credibility, okay? One of the great perks I have to do for a living is the ability to talk to build relationships with amazing people. So I'm beginning to establish my authority in being able to talk and build relationships with amazing people. Now I'm bragging on Jen and Ben, how they came in my life. Like I fell in love with them. I discerned within the, notice my wording here. I discerned within the first 30 seconds of the conversation, Ben is a rock star. I have the authority is what I'm saying to be able to discern this or not. Okay. I have no doubt tens of thousands of people will be learning. If I were you, I'd jump on his bandwagon, blah, blah, blah. Jen and Ben, you're two incredible people. So when I brag on people, when I brag on people for who they are, not for the results that I got them, that is authority. Okay. Because I'm putting myself in that leader position. Now down here, okay, bam, credibility, okay? And so what I want you to see, and you can go down, this is more credibility. Chad speaking of this particular summit, okay? You come down here, this one here, you know, it's so easy to give praise to others even when you know nothing about them, but yet so many of us do not think highly enough of ourselves to brag on our genius, or worse, even think we're a superstar. Why do you think that is? So I'm opening up a conversation here that is authority. You get the idea that almost everything I do is authority. Gina Rodriguez, huge thank you to Chad for being on the Brave Entrepreneur Podcast. It's authority, okay? You know, authority. Okay, now these are personal ones right here. But what I'm trying to show you is you can, not one of those posts was braggadocious. Okay, not one of them. Not one of them was in there saying, hey, look how good I am or look how great I am. But every one of those posts was intentional. Okay, they were intended to elevate my platform, to teach other people, to help them without coming across like an arrogant pig, right? Mm-hmm. And so authority, you have to be intentional about it. So what I want you to, and I'm going to give you a little challenge here in a minute. What I want you to understand is you have to every single day do something in your business that builds authority. So you have to write a post that teaches somebody something. You have to ask an engaging question, okay, where you give a little bit of opinion and then ask an engaging question and then moderate those questions. You have to brag on a client, not for the outcome that they get, but for the people who they are. Okay, that's all authority. Okay, you have to go 10-1, you win. Okay, so every 11 posts that you're doing that is not personal, they need to be authoritative. So I tell you to use the 10-4-1 rule. Okay, so we want you to post 10 times. Okay. These are just normal everyday posts, just like you saw. Okay, those are your authoritative posts. And then 4 times, okay, these are just goofy posts like, you know, my kid, you know, whatever, did this, or okay. And then 1 time, I want you to do a credibility or a call to action. Okay, so it's 10-4-1. So 10 posts are authority. 4 posts are just normal, everyday, average posts, and then 1 day is a call to action or credibility post, okay? So that's the 10-4-1 rule, okay? So I always say 10-1, you win, okay? And that is absolutely true. So 10 authoritative posts to every 1 credibility post, and you will win in this game. So here is the challenge I want to give you, okay? What I want to give you is I want to give you a 10-day challenge, and I've been doing this with a lot of my coaching clients. As I've been seeing them get success, I've been getting in their ear via Voxer. I'm like, okay, so here's what I want you to do. And the people who are doing this are beginning to see a lot of success. So for instance, I'm going to share with you Trish Litos, okay? Trish is one that I just did the other day. So if you were to come here to Trish Litos, okay, she'll tell you right here, hey, I was challenged by my incredible business coach to create 10 days of post teaching you about live video marketing. So she's trying to make a name for herself with live video marketing. And so part of our deal with Trish is she was doing all kinds of things, you know, keto with Lido and real estate and this and that. And I went and heard her speak one time, and a little piece, I think one of her like 5 points in her talk, she was talking about these 5-minute lives. And I'm like, Trish, that's your business right there. Oh yeah. I'm going to, I'll do that a little bit. I'm like, no. You don't understand. That's your business. That one thing. And I was like, you got to get rid of everything else and just go all in on that. And she sort of fought me a little bit. Like, no, just the Facebook Live. I'm like, no, listen. I said, if that's your thing. So she went all in. And this was only about 60 days ago, maybe 90 days ago. So it was in November. So she goes all in on this. And she starts focusing. She gets rid of keto with Lido. She's phasing out real estate. She's getting rid of everything. And she's going all in on this. And number one, she's sold tens of thousands of dollars of coaching since then on this particular topic. You know, she used to not sell any coaching, but now that she's all in on it, now she's a specialist. So she's put her stake in the ground. She now is a specialist at what she does. And because she's proclaimed herself an expert in this space, now when people want something on Facebook Live, they're beginning to come to her. Okay. She has been asked to speak on the Vaynerchuk. Gary Vaynerchuk asked her to come speak at this event. Okay. Awesome stuff, right? And what it has to do, so she got to speak about lives with realtors, which was really cool. And so once she put her stake in the ground and said, I'm a specialty, all kinds of doors have been opening up. So I'm seeing the success that she has. And so I reached back out to her and said, okay, now it's time to get your authority to a whole nother level. Because when your authority goes to a whole nother level, then you can begin charging a whole lot of money. Okay. And so what I did was I challenged her to come in here and to teach us for 10 consecutive days about live video marketing. But what made this a little bit different was I didn't want her to do it on video. The reason is because SEO doesn't really work with video, okay? And she was only reaching, like 90% of everything she does is on video, so she's only reaching the video crowd, okay? But not everybody, including myself, I don't like video. I love to be on video, but I don't sit down and watch people's videos. I don't have that much time because you have to be captivated. Whereas if you put it in writing, I can just skim through it. Bam. Okay. It took me 45 seconds to read her article, but it would take me 20 minutes to watch her video. Okay. So I didn't. So I wanted her to put this in writing. So with this 10-day challenge I'm going to give you, this is an in writing challenge. Okay. So what I told her is I want you to write about your authority. Okay, whatever it is you're great at. Okay, so hers is Facebook Lives. And I want you to write 10 consecutive days, and I just want you to teach the heck out of me in writing, okay? And do it on do it on a Facebook post so it's not super long, okay? So this was day one. Watch it. This was day one, which is January 26th, which is just 2 days ago, okay? And she got a little bit of comments, okay? Jason says, great content for day one already. Can't wait to see what you do, blah, 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 okay? She got 6 comments, not a ton, okay? But watch what happens on day 2. Okay, now watch what happens on day 2. So if you come here to day 2, where are you at, Trish Lito? This is something else too. You also have to make sure that you're not cluttering your. So she's got so many of these videos, same videos. So you need to go in and hide a lot of those. Okay. Right. So watch day 2. Okay. So day 2 was Facebook Live tips. Day 2, 10 ways to repurpose lives. Now look, remember she only had 6 comments on day 1. She has 51 comments on day 2, and she got 7 shares. That's between day 1 and day 2. Right. And so now I'm really curious to see what she does today, because today's day 3, and I bet she'll get even a lot more. So what you're going to see is when you begin putting this in, that your authority is going to begin going up. People will begin noticing it. Okay. And now people are going to begin sharing it. Okay. So that was just the difference between day 1 and day 2. And I have no doubt it's just going to keep going up and up and up and up and up. But here's what she's doing. Here's what she doesn't know is coming. Okay. So what we're going to do is, well, actually, I'm debating on what I should tell you. I'm not going to tell you what we're going to do on day 2. I'll tell you that next week. Okay. Or when we're done. Because I don't want that to influence the way that you write, okay? So what I want you to do is I want to give you guys a 10-day challenge. And for the next 10 days, what I want you to do is I want you to take your zone of genius. whatever it is that you're trying to sell, whatever it is that you're trying to do, whatever your authority is, I want you to become singular focused. I want you to narrow it down, become singular focused. And I want you to give me 10 days of authoritative posts, okay, 10 days of authoritative posts in writing on your Facebook page if you can, okay, and I want to be able to read those, okay, so tag me in it, okay, and I want to be able to read those, and I'll tell you what we'll do with them later, but just go on. So here's how you do that, okay? So let me just give you a little bit of coaching here, okay? So what I like to do is I like to take just a sheet of paper, and I'll say day one, okay? So let's say that, you know, I'm going to write about, let's say I'm going to write about how to make money via live streaming, okay? Or how to build your credibility via live streaming. So let's say I'm going to do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply bullet point, okay? Like on the right-hand side of my sheet here, I'm just going to bullet point, like what are some things that I want them to learn, okay? So I'm like, okay, well, I want them to learn about, about content, right? So creating a content strategy, okay? Then I want them to learn about the equipment, okay? And then I want them to learn about the setting, like the backdrop.
And then you want them to learn all this in one day?
No. This is just things I want them to learn.
Right. Okay.
So I'm just going to write a list of everything I want them to learn. So I want them to think about content, think about equipment, think about setting. Okay, I want them to learn about dress, okay? Okay, I want them to learn about interviews, right? How to interview somebody, and then I want them to learn how to tag, build an audience, and then ethically steal an audience. Okay. So let's say, and then I want them to learn about lighting. Okay, and I want them to learn about repurposing content. I want them to learn what else? I want them to learn 4, 5, 6, 7, it's 8. So I want them to learn about what else would we want to learn about Facebook Lives?
Did you say what to talk about?
Yeah, I got a content strategy. Yeah.
Okay.
Content strategy, equipment, the setting, dress. I want to learn how to make the sale. Okay, so make the sale, and then I want to learn one more. How to make the sale, and then I want to learn. I'll teach them how to. We talked about repurposing content, but I'm gonna let's see, building a library. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just write down on the right hand side here. I'm gonna just write, here's things that I want them to learn about Facebook Live. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna take one of these bullet points and just, which one do I want to? So what I typically would do then is I'd put these in order. If there's an order to it, there may not be an order to it, but if there's an order to it, now I'm gonna put it in order. Okay, so let's say that actually wanted to even talk about is the power of Facebook Live. So that's probably what I'm going to start with. So I'm going to start with, the power of live streaming. Okay. And then I'm just going to bullet point 2 or 3 things with the power of live streaming. Okay. So when you think about the power of live streaming, okay, what I'll do is, you have an audience, that gives you energy. Okay, boost your authority because they can see you. It's your platform. I may talk a little bit about whatever. So I'll come up with 3 or 4 points. So that'll be day one. And then all I'm going to do with my content strategies, I'm just going to spend a couple of hours. Okay, and I'm just going to write my 10-day strategy out. Okay, and this is going to come back because we're going to turn this into a lot of money next week. So don't think that this couple hours that you're going to spend on this is vain. You don't have to do this all the time because I'm going to show you how to turn this into something really powerful and be able to monetize this next week. So this is really important for you, okay? And so you're just going to come in and you're just going to write a post on it, okay? And the post doesn't need to be super long, okay? It just needs to be about that long, okay? About 4 or 5, maybe 6 paragraphs. That's it. You're not trying to teach them everything you know on the topic. What you're trying to do is you're just simply trying to establish your authority on the topic. Does that make sense? So you're not trying to teach them everything. You're just trying to establish your authority on the topic. So you want to think about these as like a half of a blog, okay? Not a whole blog, just a half of a blog article. So I would say something like, Day 1, the power of live streaming, okay? And I would go in there and I would start with like a statistic. About 85% of all my income comes through live streaming. So I think that this is the obvious topic that I would talk about, that there's absolutely a lot of power in live streaming. Here's what live streaming does. And what I want to do is I want to convince you to come up with a live streaming strategy, whatever. And then I'll go on, live streaming gives you a live audience to speak to, and I'll go on and talk about how it gives you energy, how you don't stop, whatever. So I'll go on and I'll just bullet point those, get about a half a blog, publish it. What I'd like to do, what she hasn't done, what Trish hasn't done, which I'd love to see her do, is now what I want her to put some images on there, because images really help. So find an image that goes along with it, put that on there and just post, okay? So let's not overthink this. Keep it nice and simple. Just literally bullet point whatever you want to talk about. So Christina, what would you talk about?
I would be promoting my 5-day challenge for marketing on autopilot.
Okay, but you don't want your 5-day challenge to be the authority. You're the authority, right? Okay, so don't use this to promote a product yet.
Right.
Okay, so what are you talking about in your 5-day challenge?
Creating a marketing plan and calendar. Okay.
So what you're going to do is you're going to do a 10-day authority on creating a marketing plan and calendar. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So the power of a marketing plan, or whatever you're going to talk about it, and just go on and talk about that every single day, and just give me some actionable things that I can take away and I can learn. Okay.
Right.
But nice and clean and simple. Don't give away all your goods, but just make it nice and simple, and make sure that people know that Christina is the go-to girl when it comes to marketing plans and calendars.
Yep.
Does that make sense? Now, let me ask you, is that part of a bigger picture for you?
Yeah. It leads into all the other things I do.
Which is?
Well, when I get focused enough and develop it out more, my it factor.
Yeah, the it factor.
The it factor. Yeah.
Okay, so do you think it would be better for you to write about the it factor?
It could, yeah.
What are you nervous about?
I guess I'm just thinking about all the work I just put into this other thing, and I want to get sales, make it pay off.
Yeah. Okay, but that's a whole different thing that we're trying to do. So if you want to do that, okay. Okay. So do this. If you go with that, if you're going to go that approach on it, what would you teach? What would you teach on in your 10 days? So give me 3 or 4 of the bullet points.
Yeah. I would talk about the power of a plan, why you need to have a marketing plan.
Okay.
Goal setting.
Okay.
Defining your target market.
Okay.
Your differentiator.
Okay.
What makes the difference? And then how to find what media to use, free tactics versus paid tactics to get in front of your audience.
Do you talk about any of this in the challenge itself?
Yeah.
Okay. So don't give that away.
Don't? Okay.
Right. So yeah. So what you don't want to do, what you don't want to do is give away all your goods. Okay. So this is more of the what, that's going to be more of the how.
Okay.
Okay. So what you're selling in the challenge is how to do it.
Okay.
Now, what do they need to know in order to be convinced? Right. So what do they need to know in order to be convinced to do your challenge? Okay. So that's what you're going to be thinking about. Okay.
Okay.
So your first one is perfect. So the power of a marketing plan. Okay. So let's talk a little. So bullet point that one for me. What would you teach in that one?
How it can help you stay on track toward your goals, to hitting your goals, how it prevents you from shiny object syndrome and getting distracted and going off in a different direction, how it prevents you from being taken advantage of by media reps who come in and say that they have this great sale on a full page ad. And
I love that. And you can bullet point that and teach it in like 1 or 2 sentences.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. See, that's a great authoritative post.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd want that. I'd read that. And I'd be like, wow. Okay. I can't wait till tomorrow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to be able to read that. Okay. And then what would you teach me tomorrow?
Goal setting.
Okay. I think you should teach me why goal setting is important.
Why goal setting is important. Okay.
Right.
So it's all about why it's important, not.
Don't tell me how to do it.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to buy from you.
Okay. Got it.
You can give me a couple. Here's what you do in goal setting.
Yeah.
You can do that, but don't tell me how to do it. Like, don't give me like, for instance, if you were to go into your group, okay, and I'm not going to share this on screen, but if you were to go into your group, so you were looking at day 1, which is your vision, setting goals, okay, and the path to achieving goals. You have a work. Okay, well, you know what? It's okay. I think you're gonna. Yeah, just go. You know what? Don't overthink it. Just do what you think is best.
Mm-hmm.
And we can always critique it later. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, but just come up with a 10-day challenge of just go on and just hammer your authority.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Use the word I a lot and you should a lot. Okay. So like when getting your business to the next level, it's incredibly important to have a strategic goal setting plan. So you should do that, right?
Okay.
And then give a story. You can even give a story about you. Like, when I first, like, so this is all about you. This is your authority. Okay. You can establish your authority by telling them what to do. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, experts, some of the things that make you an expert is your tonality changes. So your vocals changes. So you go from I think to you should.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you give them something to do. Okay. So I want you to do this right now. So I want you to go on Facebook Live, like I just did. I want you to go on Facebook page. I want you to create a 10-day challenge, right? So authority figures tell people what to do. So what you're going to do is you're going to change your vocabulary from I think to you should. Give them something to do. So give them an immediate call to action, okay, which establishes your authority in your pace. And then what you want to do is you want them to reply back to you. So put down in the comments. Okay, put down in the comments like what your goal is. Put down in the comments what your whatever is, right? And so you want to see if you can engage conversation.
Uh-huh.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the whole point of this authority thing is not only to have content, which is, and I'll tell you next week what we'll do with it, but not only have content, which is incredible, but we want your Facebook page to begin getting a lot of engagement, okay? And a lot of shares and a lot of likes and stuff like that. Okay, because that builds your authority and credibility boost as well. And then as people share it, people begin friending you or they begin following you, which attracts more and more people to you.
So in every post, I give them something to do?
Yeah, every post gives them something to do. Uh-huh.
Okay.
It could be the very last thing you say, Right. So tell me below, what are your 3 goals?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah. So just put, I mean, you don't have to have it in every post, but that's the point. The point of doing this is you want people to read it. You want your authority to be established. You want to be able to tell people what to do because that establishes your authority. You want to change your tonality from I think to you should. And then you want to tell them to do something. And that engagement on your post is what jacks it up as far as algorithm goes. And then hopefully they will share this. So make it good enough where people would want to share it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. And there's no call to action on this whole thing.
Right.
That makes sense? We're not asking somebody to buy something right now. Next week, that's what next week is for.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. That makes sense?
Yes.
All right, darn. I got to roll.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a great day.